Kia ora, nau mai ki te whare. Welcome to the House, ko Louis Collins aho. As part of their function of scrutiny of the executive, Parliament's select committees conduct annual reviews of the government's many entities, departments and organisations. During the annual review hearings, committee MPs hear from officials about the performance of their organisation and whether it's serving New Zealanders as well as it should be. This week, MPs and, more significantly, the public got a rare glimpse into New Zealand's intelligence community. This was during the annual review of the Security Intelligence Service, or SIS, and the Government Communications Security Bureau, or GCSB. Now, you might be picturing spies in tuxedos emerging from an Aston Martin DB9 parked on Parliament's forecourt. The reality is a lot less glamorous. The heads of both entities came to Parliament and gave the Intelligence and Security Select Committee a rundown of the current state of affairs in an otherwise secretive part of government. Firstly, here's Andrew Hampton, Director-General of the NZSIS.
Another terrorist event in New Zealand remains a realistic possibility, with the most likely threat actor being an individual who has been self-radicalised, uses readily available weapons and seeks to avoid attention. Attacks are likely to happen with little or no warning. This assessment is informed by both the deteriorating global violent extremist environment and an increasingly complex domestic situation.
And another Andrew Clark, Director-General of the GCSB.
As New Zealand's lead organisation for signals intelligence and cybersecurity, we're predominantly outward-looking. We provide our customers with intelligence that helps them to make good decisions and to build cyber resilience in a challenging geostrategic landscape.
Gentlemen, can I just say thank you for your opening remarks. Thank you for the context setting and fully agree your comments and endorsement of your own people was fantastic. Okay, Brooke.
Now, you probably recognise the voice of the committee chair. Well, the Intelligence and Security Committee isn't just any old committee. Unlike the subject select committees, its membership includes ministers, and its chair is the Prime Minister. Anyway, let's hear Brooke Van Velden's question.
Look, you've spoken about a deterioration in the global security environment over the past year. Have you noticed any changes to threat actors that you may be able to talk publicly about? And also, are there any changes to the threat actors that the public should be aware about?
The deterioration, it's multifaceted. So there's obviously wars occurring around the world at a level we haven't seen for some time. The whole rules-based order that New Zealand depends on is coming under huge pressure, and various liberal democracies like our own are experiencing quite a lot of polarisation.
The two agencies haven't been immune from controversy in the past, the GCSB in particular during the years of the Key government. There's also an added layer of controversy in that much of their work is kept confidential, sometimes resulting in minimal accountability. However, there are signs that increasing transparency and public engagement can be expected. Here's Chris Hipkins.
Whilst you will never be as fully transparent as other government agencies, in keeping with the general trend to try and be more transparent, you are actually aligning yourself more closely with what other entities are expected to do. Are you developing new publicly available measures, for example, that you can share publicly, recognising that there are certainly plenty that you can't?
I think for agencies like ours, it's fundamental that we are accountable to the public ultimately. And yes, as you say, Mr. Hipkins, there are some things that the public won't be able to know in detail, so that's why oversight, like from this committee and from the Inspector General, from the Auditor General, is key. I think ultimately, though, the test for the public is what we're providing to them useful? Does it help them to make better decisions? And I do think we've made some real progress there.
Ultimately, this hearing was significant because the public don't hear much about this topic, and frankly, espionage is quite fascinating to a lot of people. There's a reason why spy books are so popular. Judith Collins, the minister responsible for both agencies, did a little bit of promo work when she asked this question.
So I often hear very good comments from our Five Eyes partners about the work of our security agencies, and I was wondering whether or not you'd like to speak about how important that relationship and those relationships are to keeping New Zealanders safe.
It's absolutely critical for my business. I think it would be fair to say that without the really close partnership that we have with Five Eyes partners, that my organisation would need to be a whole lot bigger, and then there'd still be a lot of stuff that we would miss.
The only thing I would add is each of the Five Eyes partners has their own independent foreign policy. Everything we do obviously is in accordance with New Zealand's government priorities, in accordance with our own legislation, in accordance with our own human rights obligations. We can't ask our partners to do things we can't legally do ourselves, just like they can't ask us to do anything that we can't legally do ourselves. However, the benefit we get from working together is significant, and notwithstanding the significant changes occurring within some of our Five Eyes partners, there is a strong understanding of the benefit that we get from working together. It is a high trust model.
I te whakarongo koe ki te whare. You've been listening to The House, a program made with funding from Parliament's Office of the Clerk. Matua.